Ooh,
just
one
6
shower for like an hour.
God, I showered like 3 times. That was awesome.
So you had Wade with the ones at center today, trying to look at other things, and
Yeah, usually halfway through camp. Usually halfway through camp is the time to pull back. We get a day yesterday to really, unload some stuff and look at the reps, look at where we're at. You're halfway through camp. You're about a week and a half out of probably some game planning stuff, and then working. You mix up some combinations of personnel, especially up front. Kind of find out where you can mitigate maybe some different combinations of guard, tackle, center, guard. And even at the receiver spots, start moving, find out who can play some X, who can play some Z, now that the offense is basically installed for the most part. And really start feeling where guys, you can start plugging and playing some guys in mixed combinations, whether it's personnel groups or lineups.
Yeah.
So today was the first day, another day where we get a chance to do that, which is fantastic. To have 3 guys who can snap and play center, that's it's a special deal.
Just generally speaking, having Wade be a post-spring addition, are you really pleased with his progress? He's getting used to everything?
Yeah, I mean, right now, he played in a system that was pretty successful, physical group, played center, played with his quarterback underneath, played him in pistol and gun. We saw the inventory stuff they did. He fits what we do. Now it's like getting in and finding out if he can do it fast in our system, physically, and really hold up thinking-wise as well. So it's that part of it's going to come, learning the offense, but I think he fits for us and what we do well, especially with some depth.
it seems like Champ Westbrook has really come along. Is he now competing for that top backup tackle spot?
Yeah, I mean, Champ's had an awesome camp. We've seen that as he starts to really pour into himself in the off season. Put on some really good weight. He's got a lot stronger, really athletic. He's got some real confidence for a young guy, and so to see him the other day play live in those situations and lose one and then win one and come back, he's got a really bright future with us. And so being able to see where he's going to stack up, it's always tough as a young offensive lineman. Hard to play early as a lineman, but he's got some skill sets to be in there and mix it up and some late rotations.
See wide receiver like Jiren Hamilton, there's really not a lot of film on him. It's just game film. How hard is it to make a decision to get a guy like that when the film is probably limited and maybe going a lot of high school film?
Yeah, I mean, recruiting guys with not a lot of films, like recruiting out of high school, you got to project and evaluate the critical skills and positional skills based on what you have, and then you've got to understand that you've got some development with that too. So there's something's not there missing in a young guy. Do you feel like you can still develop it, and Jiren's been a guy where we felt like we may not see certain attributes or skill sets yet, but we see some flashes or some things we think we can develop. And so we still are understanding we've got time with him. And he's done a good job of things we've asked, and we ask a lot of them in the offense, in our receivers and what they do. And now that we get closer and closer to game week, it's really tailored down to what guys really do well, where they can go. Some guys can be more multiple than others. Some guys are going to be locked in. And so we're really excited about where he's at and what he gives us in the offense. Double corner fire.
Really gotten more comfortable with the motion he's gotten throughout the fall.
Yeah, Relik's done an awesome job. I mean, what he's done with his body and his mind in the offseason from a guy who's been through what he's been through has been nothing short of awesome. We know he's got those critical skills that are special. It's just being able to do them on a day in and day out basis and be able to handle the offense. And so, knock on wood again, he's been a guy who's been really flashed a lot in camp and done some really good things. So him in this offense is with what we do with the backs, as we all know, we do a lot with them, is going to be something we hope really takes off again.
I'm guessing if you guys were playing this Saturday, you could prepare. Where will time be most valuable to you guys having over the next few weeks for the offense?
One more time. We're playing this weekend?
So I'm guessing you guys have installed enough of the offense that you could play this weekend.
Gotcha.
But having a couple of extra weeks, what is that extra time? Where is that most valuable in preparation?
Yeah, I mean, if we had a preseason game this week, we'd be no different than anybody else. You'd be ready to take what you have in inventory and go into a preseason game and being able to manage and evaluate personnel. You can handle the situations for the most part because they're all in. But now that you've got, I think 2.5, 3 Saturdays from last Saturday, right? And we're in a game week. You start really getting down into the final phases of your install and some situations that are kind of a little bit one-off or two-offs and making sure we're really dialed in on that. You start working into combination rotations and personnel groupings to see what you can really handle if you had to get into something either organically or something that happened throughout the season. And then about a week and a half out, you start getting into game planning. So we're probably a week out of really just finishing up some small pieces, and then we're going to get into some situations and game planning and really start looking at what we think we need in those first couple weeks.
What does this team's tight end talent and depth enable for you?
I mean, at the tight end, when I got here, we mentioned it. I mean, it's as valuable asset as anything in the offense because of what we do. I think it's probably the most underrated and most pivotal piece of an offense that's going to run the football and being able to take control of the edges of a defense. And so our guys are in the run game, they're in the pass protection, they're in the screen game, they're in the pass game. And so the guys we recruited in that room can all do that. And you can see it. They can control the edge of the field. They can control the middle. They're big vertical targets down the seams that can take on overlap corners on their backs. And I think when you can manage and take control of the edges of a defense and the vertical pieces in the middle of the field, you've got a guy who's a real weapon. They're Swiss Army knives, right? And it's probably one of the hardest positions there are on a football team because they've got to be in every meeting. They've got to be in the run game meeting, the pass game meeting, pass protection meeting, the screen meeting. You know, they've got a lot to handle. And so we've got a special group that we're going to make sure, again, this year we take advantage of.
Kenny will say that he enjoys this, like the process, the practice, the preparation, more than actual game day.
Yeah.
Do you share that? Could you prepare forever, or do you look forward at a certain point to playing on Saturdays?
Yeah, we're similar in that regard. I think we kind of hit off knowing each other that way. I think we're kind of sickos for the preparation. You know, I mean, it's like some people get fired up for like packing the car to go like on a big trip, and that's just how we are. You're like, shit, yeah, man, look at this bit. Sorry. You know, the car's packed all nice. You got the checklist going. You're ready, and then like the drive and getting there, you're like, oh well, you know. The process of practicing and like evaluating and coaching your tail off and going through the highs and lows of a camp, wearing the same clothes over and over and sleeping up in a cabin with no AC with, you know, you got to be a little bit screwed up, you know, it's part of it. And then you get to the game and you're like, well, and when you do it that way, and when you put that much emphasis on it, I think the reality of it is, in all candor, the reality of it is when we put that much into it and we're that focused on it and it's that attention to detail and we're that hype about it, the games are easy because we're so intense on the kids about the process. The games are easy. They don't got the refs spot the ball. We don't spot the ball. We don't script. It's just like, let's go play. And I think that's what gives our team a real competitive advantage, is because we coach our ass off so hard and we're so aggressive. We're so intentful. We don't really know where in the game is. We just know right now we got to kick someone's ass. And so that's been the awesome piece about our culture and our team and what Kenny's and the staff has brought to this is we love the practice. We love the work. Showers in one day. Yeah, if I said it, I need a trophy. Yeah, for sure. No, that's a cool deal coming back from that. We were all pretty tired. Bed felt pretty good. I think I was face down for about the first 40 minutes at home. So,
Thanks.
You got it, man. Have a good day.